Shalom, shalom, and good Thursday evening. Welcome to the
Got no
Nilvah Nexus.
sound.
Huh? What'd you say, Rosalie?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You have no sound.
I have no sound.
No sound. You did good, and it started, and when you muted everybody, it died.
Huh. Well. I think I'm coming over
I'm going
the
to
live
reboot
version.
and see if it's just me, okay?
I think I'm coming over the live version. Because I got a feed going on. There we go. Yeah, okay, well, we're here. This is the Nilvah Nexus. It's Thursday night. We do this every Thursday. A weekly Torah chat where we invite you to come in and share a little bit of the Torah with us each week, Judaism in general. I am James the Idol Smasher, James the Idol Smasher at gmail.com, at the Idol Smasher on Twitter and YouTube right now. If you're watching on either one of those platforms live, I thank you. Facebook as well with the Orphans of Abraham. And for those who watch later on, a lot of people catch up on the discussion. We appreciate you tuning in, and again, you're always welcome here every Thursday night. There's a link over on the YouTube. There she is. Can you hear me? Can you hear? Oh, well, this is weird. I guess you can't hear me, eh, Rosalie? Well, we're hopefully going to get her.
I have no sound for you at all, James.
Well, sound is on YouTube live. I can hear you. Well, we'll see how that goes. Because we can't hear you. We are let's see, entering into we're exiting the 8th day of Passover. The sun's going down here in the Midwest as we speak, and it's the story of Passover. Also, we're on the 8th day of the Omer, where there's something called counting the Omer, which in Judaism, from Passover to the giving of the 10 statements at Sinai is counted. So we're counting the days between the two. It's called counting the Omer. We are currently on day 8, as in the 8th day of Passover as well. I could talk about the significance of Passover until the cows come home. And it's not really for people like me. It's not really for the non-Jew. It's the ger is the only one who apparently a ger may get circumcised and circumcise the men in his household, and he can eat. He can participate in Passover, but it's not really for. It's something that is for Israel alone. And if you do get invited to one, I mean, you can have your own Seder, sure, but the holiday was for a specific people, if you will, a certain nation. It's a story of a certain nation, of course. We'll see if we still have sound. Okay, we do have some. Rosalie, I'm sorry. I wish we could hear you, or you could hear us, or me. So the holiday, or the 8 days of the holiday, if you will, if you want to look at it that way, is a journey out of confinement, out of bondage. Egypt means, or Mitzrayim means bonded or confined. In fact, I should pull up the first statement. When Mashiach comes again, I think it might take a jolt, like we have, like what happened in Egypt. That was really, I mean that as a jolt, like a jolt to the society, a jolt to the world. It woke the world up. The story of it woke the world up. The survival of the people that experience it woke the world up. And I think that's going to happen with the coming of Mashiach. The reason what I'm looking this up for, and I had it in the book, but I took it out and I thought, no, I'm going to go somewhere else with it. And then I lost it again. There we go. The first statement. I am the Lord thy God who brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Dennis Prager did a really good 5 minutes on it, but I really think he could have done an hour, because I could do an hour on it. What the significance of what happens here between Passover receiving the 10 statements and then entering the land generations later is a story. And we brought this up last week. We talked a little bit about it. It was really the first self-sustaining nation in and of itself. There was nothing quite like it. It was very independent and very free. And as Dennis Prager says in one of his videos about the 10 Commandments, this is this statement here shows that, God would prefer us to be free. I mean, you can read the Torah and the Israelites whine and moan about freedom the whole time. If we only were back in Egypt, at least we'd have fish, or at least we'd have meat. That's what it was. Meat. They wanted meat. Hashem says, well, you're going to have meat coming out your nose. The toils of freedom. The toils of freedom. Oh, look, it ain't easy being free. And what's more than that, it's not easy maintaining freedom. Rosalie, can you hear me? Nothing?
Nothing. My tab where StreamYard it says muted. Did you mute me?
Unmute it in the tab? Let me ask her. She didn't hear me. I'm talking to her that she can't hear me. I'm trying to talk to her.
Word you say, and I've got everything everywhere else.
Can you unmute in the tab itself? Let's try that out. We'll see how that goes. Okay. So the point is, they say, they like to say that the Bill of Rights are based on the 10 Commandments. They like to say, that religion was the inspiration for the United States of America. They try to put a holy thing on it. I don't really think there's much can be said for the holiness of America, except that the one thing that does separate itself is it was the freest nation ever created. Is it free? No. It was free for about 10 seconds, and then they decided to tax the people for their freedom. Here, thanks for spilling a bunch of blood. Now pay us for your freedom. You owe us for your freedom. It was called the whiskey tax. And America's been full of crap ever since. Still, even though America is completely full of crap now, it's still the freest nation on the planet. And I think that's why religion is so clung to here. You can go, not everywhere, but a good deal of the country. You're going to go somewhere. There's a church here, church there, church there. Churches everywhere. Oh, they have an old church there. They're going to tear that one down and build the other one up over here. And, the things that they do and Rosalie says she's not on mute. Okay. One of our successes and the reason why we're one of the most charitable nations on the planet, the most charitable nation on the planet. I haven't looked in the past since 2022, I guess. I haven't looked up those statistics, but for many, many, many years running, we have been the most charitable nation, giving out of its borders and within as well. But you can't be a free nation if you're not a virtuous nation. You can't, there's no liberty without virtue. One cannot exist without the other. I know that's not on our coins. And, well, where's the fun in that? I want to have a few drinks and party and stuff. I'm not saying you can't have a knees up and be joyous and celebrate. I'm saying, and have that attitude. You should have that attitude anyway, if you ask me. But you cannot be free and immoral at the same time. You must be a virtuous society. And America kind of held up to that. It's had about 100 years of moral degradation, especially in the last 20 and certainly in the last 5. And it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. It's going to get to the point where something's going to have to crack. But there is a remedy, and that remedy is Torah. And I'm not saying, it doesn't. I'm not saying be Jewish. I'm not saying you have to stop being who you are, as a person. But you've got to evolve, and human beings do not naturally evolve. We are not a virtuous species. We're junky, if you ask me. There's very little good about a human being, but we have the ability to become better. And no other creature on the earth has that ability. No other creature in nature has that necessity. If we don't fix our ethical, moral values, we're not going to amount to a hill of beans anywhere ever. And this nation will go by as a flash in the pan. The remedy is Torah. There's nothing that enslaves you about Torah. Torah is the first, or at least oldest living anti-slavery document in history. The whole thing is about freeing one from bondage, whether it's Abraham taking his people and leaving his father, Noah saving his family from destroying the world, or for that matter, Moshe leading, the mixed multitude in Israel out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, and made them a free nation. And it's kind of like they ask, it's a republic. If you can keep it, well, here's the land. If you can keep it, because God told us how to do that too. And for a while, we did, or they did, Jews did, Israel did. All right, here we go. I'm going to mute. I want to mute Rosalie. All right, Rosalie, you're muted. Let's try it again. Any better?
Nope, it still says StreamYard's muted. Okay, I'm going to try it again.
Well, come on, StreamYard. There's my bud, my other half of this. She's the brains, sweetheart. I gotta have my Rosalie. Shoot. So we want you back, Rosalie. Maybe I'll post in here. You talk. All right, here we go. Can I get across his fingers? It's habit. Should I cross my? Maybe is that wrong? I've never asked a rabbi. I should ask a rabbi if I need to cross my fingers. Okay.
It says playing now.
So you can hear me?
Yes. It says StreamYard's playing.
Awesome.
Like I said, I had sound everywhere else but here. Because it said StreamYard. You turned on the music and then everything just went quiet.
Wow. Well, you're back. That's good. We're back.
Yay.
Yay. Darn tootin'.
Sorry.
Oh, no, not at all. Don't be sorry. I was just going off about the importance of freedom, liberty, and all that good stuff that we kind of had a tendency to squander. And it's just like the Israelites. And what I'm getting to, and I brought this up, is the whining and moaning of the Israelites throughout their entire. It's why can't we go back to Egypt? We get real bread. Oh, why can't we? If only we were back in Egypt. They just whined and moaned about being free. These are.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no. Can you hear me? Because you froze up otherwise. Let me reboot and see if I can come back in. Because you're frozen.
Oh, well, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is more entertaining than anything else.
I'm
Hi.
back. Hi, honey, I'm home. You froze right up. I was like, damn.
This isn't. I get a flat tire. I had to get it fixed at the last minute, and you had a flat tire. That technical stuff's not what my phone's acting all kinds of weird. You get. I mean, this is just our day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really our day.
Welcome to the 8th day of Passover. We didn't put enough blood on the lentils, man. Let me tell you.
So anyway, yeah, I think we're at the point to where we just learned to squander our liberty, and we got distracted. So, can we get it back? Yes. And the remedy is always Torah.
Right.
A true virtuous society. You can make all the claims you want. I love Steven Crowder, but he makes some stupid claims about religion and says things. And if it's, I don't even want to say convert from your religion. I just want to say, learn 7 laws and start reading from a Hebrew.
Oh, Rabbi Corfine says the same thing. He said the same thing. He says, just don't do it. Stay where you are. Unless you might want to follow the Jewish religion. That's one thing. But to be a part of the Jewish people is an entirely different thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to stop being who you are, but just curtail your behavior and learn to curtail your behavior. Learn. And we know this. If you're watching this study session we do every week, chances are you probably already do.
Right.
We need to get the numbers up. We need to get the numbers up, man. We got to get them up. People need help. The homelessness, the ridiculous amount of homelessness. What were these people promised that they would go live like this? There were no homeless camps like this, coast to coast. And suddenly, on the latest Bolshevik revolution, I thought Weather Underground was nasty in the 60s and stuff. What are we going to do with them? How you pull people out of the mud when they're that deep? I mean, wow. Do you sponsor a homeless guy? I don't know. Well, that was silly. I didn't mean to do that.
Alrighty then.
It was down by the mute button when I tried unmuting you, so when my hand hit the laptop here.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just kick Rosalie.
Let's just kick her when she's down on the 8th day of Passover. Okay. and for those of you out there who are counting the Omer, thank you, Hashem, for bringing us this time in our lives. Today is the 8th day of the Omer, which is 1 week and 1 day. Amen.
What do you say we read the Parsha?
Okay.
We've got
Parsha or the Haftorah?
Or both. I've got reading for I've got 5 readings for the 8th day of Passover. I have 5 readings. They're pretty brief.
Okay, I was going to say you go ahead and do that because I have the same one over and over. The only thing that's different is the Haftorah.
Well, let's get to the Haftorah then. Or what's the
Today's the 8th day.
Fear. Oh, it's Numbers. Okay, all right. Let's see. Okay, move over to the Haftorah. It is the same over and over, isn't it? Now that I'm looking at it, that's the same thing. Yeah. Okay, so Yeshayahu. Yeshayahu. Oh my goodness. Isaiah. Isaiah is not my day today. You can tell.
I've got Judah. Okay.
That is, Isaiah chapter 10. We are in, if you want to know where we're at, folks, reading at home, Chabad.org, learning values. You can go Parsha text, and it's got everything you need right there. We're in the Haftorah for the 8th day of Pesach. Okay, Isaiah chapter 10. Still today he intends to stand in Nob. He waves his hand toward the mountain of the daughter of Zion, the hill of Jerusalem. Behold, the Master, the Lord of hosts, lops off the branches with a saw, and those of lofty height are hewn down. And the tall ones shall be humbled, and the thickets of the forests shall be cut off with iron, and the Lebanon shall fall through a mighty one. Chapter 11. And a shoot shall spring forth from the stem of Jesse, and a twig shall sprout from its roots. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, a spirit of wisdom and understanding, a spirit of counsel and heroism, a spirit of knowledge and fear of the Lord. And he shall be animated by the fear of the Lord, and neither with the sight of his eyes shall he judge, nor with the hearing of his ears shall he chastise. Well, I want to read that again. I'm sorry. I got to read that one. That's good. And he shall be animated by the fear of the Lord, and neither with the sight of his eyes shall he judge, nor with the hearing of his ears shall he chastise. Yeah, wow. Humbling.
Yep.
And he shall judge the poor justly, and he shall chastise with equity the humble of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips he shall put the wicked to death. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faith the girdle of his loins. And a wolf shall live with a lamb, and a leopard shall lie with a kid, and a calf and a lion cub, and a fatling shall lie together, and a small child shall lead them.
Yay.
And a cow and a bear shall graze together, their children shall lie, and a lion, like cattle, shall eat straw. And an infant shall play over the hole of an old snake, and over the eyeball of an adder. A weaned child shall stretch forth his hand. They shall neither harm nor destroy on all my holy mount, for the land shall be full of knowledge of the Lord, as water covers the seabed. Are you seeing a little bit of Noah here?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am.
I mean, when was the only other time that all the animals lie together?
Right.
And then, of course, waters knowledge of the Lord covers as water covers the seabed, and just leapt out at me there. And it shall come to pass that on that day that the root of Jesse, which stands as a banner for peoples, to him shall the nations inquire, and his peace shall be with honor. And it shall come to pass that on that day the Lord shall continue to apply his hand a second time to acquire the rest of his people that will remain from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Sumeria and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. And he shall raise a banner to the nations, and he shall gather the lost of Israel, and the scattered ones of Judah he shall gather from the four corners of the earth. And the envy of Ephraim shall cease, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, nor shall Judah vex Ephraim. If you don't know this by now, we're talking about the Messianic era.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you know, yeah.
Of course I know.
Yeah, let me get resituated. I threw my back out, so I'm a little just slow and grunty. So I'm a bit of a curmudgeon on this.
You want me to read for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, 14. And they shall fly with one accord against the Philistines in the west. Together they shall plunder the children of the east. Upon Edom and Moab they shall stretch forth their hand, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. The Lord shall dry up the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and he shall lift his hand over the river with the strength of his wind, and he shall beat it into 7 streams, and he shall lead the exiles with shoes. And there shall be a highway for the remnant of his people who remain in Assyria, as there was for Israel on the day they went up from the land of Egypt. Keep going.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll take
Isaiah 12. And you shall say on that day, I will thank you, O Lord, for you were wroth with me. May your wrath turn away, and may you comfort me. Here is the God of my salvation. I shall trust and not fear. For the strength and praise of the eternal the Lord was my salvation. And you shall draw water with joy from the fountains of the salvation. And you shall say on that day, thank the Lord, call in his name, publicize his deeds among the peoples, keep it in remembrance, for his name is exalted. Sing to the Lord, for he has performed mighty deeds. This is known throughout the land. Shout in praise, O dwellers of Zion, for great in your midst is the Holy One of Israel. It's the end of the Haftarah.
Amen.
Amen. Yay. Have a drink. Okay.
Yeah, I can say what I can say to anybody. What has your God done for you? Well, I would hope that my God, or I would hope that God, what has your God done for you? He says, give me Torah.
Mm-hmm.
Gave the world the means by which to live a free life, a free society, how to be a virtuous person in a free society, and not actually.
Right.
Torah is the salvation.
That's right. Oh, Uncle Mike's class was really good last night. He stayed strictly in the Tahini, is it Tahini Zohar?
Yeah.
That was really good.
I was missing Zechariah, and I thought we might, kind of like we got into, maybe we could do our own Zechariah deep dive, like we did the Talmud,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe do a little bit of that each week.
That will work.
I have no doubt this is the end of days. No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No doubt. And it's not too late. I think it's too late, but I have no faith in any man whatsoever. I have no faith in the works of men.
Mm-hmm.
I should. I think deep down I probably have some way back in there tucked back for safekeeping.
Right.
But there's still time
Mm-hmm.
to get things straight. It's not too late. I know I say otherwise a lot, especially on my Facebook page. I get a little grumpy, but it's not too late. So while we have the time, while we have the ability, raise your kids right. Turn back to God.
That's right. That's right.
I got in an argument with a buddy of mine. He watched the show, and he's like, how can you believe in a book? I mean, it's a book. What's that got to do with anything? It's
Right.
like, well, if it were full of if it had a formula for the cure to cancer, would you simply call it a book?
Right.
If it's got schematics drawn on it, is it just a piece of paper? I mean, it's just paper. Why do you keep looking at it when you want to build something? Why just do it? Yeah, you herpy flirping.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's right.
It's not a book. It's what's on it that counts. As
That's
always.
right. That's right.
Yeah, something here, a little something. This is, since it's the 8th day of Passover, I got out Dennis Prager. Now, he hasn't been very religious lately, and he's been getting, I've had a few friends, and we're talking, and I'm seeing posts made, and they're very concerned that Dennis Prager is not being religious enough when talking to non-Jews about religion.
Right.
Dennis is more privately Jewish, but he's done good work. He's done a lot of good work, and one of them is this bad boy right here. Now, this is a bit more serious. I think it's a bit more serious work. I'm not saying writing a Bible commentary on each of the 5 books of Torah is not serious enough, but this seems to be a bit more formal. And so let me thought I might get some out of here. He adds a lot more in here too. Okay. That's pretty much what we covered last week. A lot of what we covered, far more in depth, because it is the Haggadah. This is what is read at Passover. This is the. Okay. This looks good. It's a commentary as well as a Haggadah. It's more, I think, for reading than for, because the Haggadah that I was reading out of when I got to go to Passover, or second Passover, I guess they call it. I didn't. It wasn't like this, but there is an essay for discussion: the false gods of our time. The need to deny false gods is as relevant today as it was in ancient Egypt, and the list of false gods is at least as long. The only difference between our gods and those of the ancients is that ours are not physical. In fact, a case can be made for this commandment being the most important of the 10. The Talmud, the most significant Jewish text after the Bible, actually says as much. Whoever denies idolatry is like one who acknowledges the entire Torah. Nearly 2,000 years later, the philosopher and philanthropist Erich Fromm, who called himself a radical humanist, said the same thing. Fromm's book, "You Shall Be as Gods," was largely devoted to rejecting false gods, which he argued should be the most important goal of mankind. Both human progress and the making of a good world are dependent on the rejection of false gods. This commandment is therefore not primarily a ban on worshiping idols. The word gods, not idols, is used. Idol worship is specifically prohibited in the second commandment, second statement. A false god is anything people worship other than God of the 10 Commandments. Here are 7 examples. Okay. The worship, okay, I'm going to say this again. A false god is anything people worship other than the God of the 10 Commandments. Education, art, love, reason, money, intelligence, and science are 7 examples of false gods because they are worshipped. The reader will note that, except for money, each of these things is properly regarded as among humanity's highest ideals and values. However, as demonstrated in the great length in the Rational Bible commentaries on Exodus and Deuteronomy, when God and his commandments are removed from these values, they can, and often do, become vehicles to moral chaos and ultimately to evil. To cite just one example, education. Many of the best educated people in Germany supported Hitler and the Nazis. Professor Peter Merkel of the University of California at Santa Barbara studied 581 Nazis and found that Germans with a high school education or even university study at a time when a much smaller percentage of the population attended university were more likely to be anti-Semitic than those with less education. That's not funny. As regards to support for Stalin and communism, the record is even worse. Professor George Watson of Cambridge University wrote, "The published evidence alone demonstrates that many Western intellectuals in the age of Stalin believed in extermination in the sense of wanting it to happen. At the time of this writing, the most anti-Israeli or anti-Israel individuals and groups groups are to be found disproportionately among the best educated. These people learned to hate Israel. They learned to hate Israel and even support movements for Israel's extinction at a university."
That sounds familiar.
Where else are you going to learn to hate the Jews? Which is stupid. You can't find a good reason for hating Jews. There's no good reason. There's not. It's stupid. The things that people come up with about these people. It's really what they are. They're just human beings. They make them out to be this Lex Luthor, this race of Lex Luthor supervillains with mind control over the population, and we're helpless but to be puppets of their strings.
Jeez.
If Jews got a hold of me, those strings would be in so many knots. No, you're doing it wrong. You do it this way. No, it's this way. I'm telling you. This is how we did it. No, I'd just be a jumbled mess. That's
Right. Hey, I'll agree to that. You won't get an argument out of me because I feel the same way. I know nothing. And I will admit, I know nothing. Because one man's Torah says something else to another man. And it just depends on which way you're looking at it and what you read and what stays with you and what speaks to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we read it over and over every year, because every year, even though it might be the same words, something new will jump out at you. Like this year with you. You said you're reading the half Torah, and you said, "Boy, that sounds like Noah. I never saw that before." Yeah.
It screams Noah.
Same story, different names.
I tell you, it doesn't get old, does it?
Uh-uh.
It really doesn't. It just stays fresh. And of course, the whole time when we're reading the Parsha, and we have the Parsha is like the theme of the week in many ways, and I'm still looking at other parts of the Torah.
Right.
And it just doesn't get old.
Nope. The thing is that when you can actually see, when you have a little bit of understanding, and you could see it playing out for real. I mean, it's like, sure, this might have happened beaucoup centuries ago, but why is what it's saying today happening today? You know?
Yeah.
Nothing is new under the sun.
Not yet. It's a coming. It's a coming.
Yep.
I'm just going to check some chat on the different places. Nobody's talking. That's fine.
Yep. I don't see nothing on my end.
Not yet. But, yeah, Passover was the beginning of a great journey, and it was at the hands of God, not by anything necessarily the Egyptians or Israelites did to. This was God taking them out and establishing them as it was, and then He kind of leaves them on their own to some extent. He doesn't abandon them, but they have to. I was mentioning earlier when I was muted to you, Rosalie, was that humans don't want to evolve naturally. We kind of go backwards. We devolve into our animalistic selves, and the only way we have to, develop ourselves.
We go back to our safe spaces, or what we're comfortable with.
Yeah. It's not always comforting. It's not. And it's I mean, there is comfort there, but I made a few revelations that blew my mind, and I didn't know where I was going, but you have to evolve. We have to evolve as a society, as human beings, individuals. We have to get better. How do we know we're getting better? Ask Torah. Ask Torah. It's like an oracle. It's living word. It will always be relevant. I think that's all I got to say on that subject.
You pretty much said it.
Would you like to add anything special, Rosalie, to the discussion before we mosey on out of the live portion?
Nope, I'm pretty much, like I said, I'm pretty much done. Next year in Jerusalem. Well, like I said, I've had a pretty. It's like if there was a sukkah around, I would be in it. I would be crawling to my sukkah and looking up, but there isn't, because it's not that time of year.
Not yet.
Nope.
I am happy to see the green popping up on the trees, though. That's making me very happy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it was. The cottonwood trees up here are starting to throw their cotton already. That's like, no, it's way too early for that.
Really?
Way too early. Yeah, we don't see that generally until around end of May, early June. Yeah.
In Michigan?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Well, you got cotton floating everywhere, and everybody's got their windows open, and they're screaming because it's messing up their screens and everything. And it's like, yeah, some of the trees have started already, and it's like, man, that ain't right.
Well, don't tell Jesus, He'll kill him.
I don't think He's got a lot to say about anything.
It's not to have olive tree. It's not supposed to bloom.
Oh wow, that's cool. It's cool that you said that. Yeah, let's meld all the sheaves together and make one big walking stick. Decide, hey, you know what? That's not too far out there.
No.
The Mashiach's coming, and hey, if he can lift up that walking stick of Moses's, and all that was twined together, and if it starts blooming, we in deep doo-doo. That's what that reminded me of. It's like, wow.
All right. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, right here. I know people are watching. I thank you for watching. We'd love to have you here. Or email me, jamestheidolsmasher@gmail.com, and let me know if there's a better day or a better night, or if if it would work for you, if there's other people who want to study that might do better at a different time and day. We pretty much going to all do this one, but we might have time or room to open other discussions throughout the week. So let me know, because your voice is important and your questions are important, even if it's to, trip me up. Please try to trip me up. Test me. I would love it. Because the answers, he wrote it down. Isn't that great? God gave us the printing press. Isn't that wonderful? And the internet. So yeah, every Thursday, come and study. And if not, I'll just, for the sake of moving on until we receive the attendant at Sinai, I suggest the 7 and a good reading of the Torah from a Hebrew source. Get to know the 7 Noahide laws, and get you good Hebrew Chumash and learn. You still have time. It's going to give you more than you're ever going to get from anything else or any other religion or any other philosophy. It's going to give you more to work on, more to love, more to consume, more tangible, practical, reasonable, rational teachings, commandments, statements, big stuff. Things that are beyond rational understanding and have to be explained in an irrational manner so that your super rational self can relate, or you can relate to it. I can't stress it enough. So we got it, America. You want to be free? That's how, first you have to put down your idols, because if you're stuck on one thing, you're not open to all. So in the world, all that God has to offer. Rosalie, thank you once again, my friend.
Well, I'm glad we got this ironed out and we got it fixed.
Yeah,
Makes for a very long show when you got to do it by yourself.
Technology just isn't being kind to us this week. I don't think.
No, it's not.
We'll see you next week, y'all. Shabbat shalom. Be well.
Shabbat shalom. Next year in Jerusalem.